So this is what we don't want to do. This is what we shouldn't do when we're safe sleeping our baby. Your baby should be alone, nothing in the crib, no blanket, no toys, no items of any sort. Just your baby sleeping on its back. Always sleep your baby on her back, alone, in her crib. Put nothing in baby's sleep area. Be careful not to overdress your baby. You don't want to have your baby sleeping face down or on a boppy, any item, a pillow, any items. You want to keep your baby safe, alone, sleeping on its back in the crib with nothing in the sleep area. Let's keep our baby safe. Oh, this is just awesome. You want to introduce yourself and our special guest?
I'm Tashira Manning, and this is baby Chanel.
Oh, it's nice to hang out with y'all. We're going to be talking about a tough subject today, but when it goes well, it goes really well when we do all the right things. And sometimes we don't always get it right. So we're going to talk a little bit about sudden infant death syndrome.
Okay.
And sometimes you'll hear it called SUID, sudden unexpected infant death. And that's that term that's used when there's an unexpected death of a baby less than 1 year old, in which the cause was not obvious before they investigated things. Mm-hmm. And most of the time this happens related to sleep, or in the baby's sleeping area. Mm-hmm. And so I just wanted to just kind of talk through some of that, because I know it's challenging for us, especially African Americans.
Yes.
And older people like myself, because we did it a certain way and everybody lived and we think it was perfect.
Yes. So it is a challenge, and it has been a challenge for me because this is my fourth baby, and with my first child, when I left the hospital, they instructed me to lay my baby on his back, which I did. But then he aspirated and was choking. So I woke up because I heard him choking. Mm-hmm. And he was on his back, so he couldn't turn yet. Yeah. He was so small. And so that frightened me. And so I never put him on his back again. I put him on his stomach because I said, at least if he throws up, it'll fall out. And so now, 3 kids later, I have Chanel, who's also preterm baby. Born at 1 pound. So, it's really critical how I take care of her and how I make sure she sleeps in bed. And it's a challenge because I'm so used to laying my babies downward, face down.
Right.
And then turning their head to the side, but she sleeps so much better on her back. Yeah. So it was a challenge for me, not for baby, because I'm the one who's laying baby down, just to break that habit of doing it the wrong way, or, a way that could be harmful to her.
So you were able to get some real information about safe sleep.
Yes.
And what we do know, that it's preventable. These infant deaths are preventable when we take the precautions, when we always lay baby on the back.
Yes.
And even though that incident with your very first baby that didn't go well and it's really scary, but for you to think about, hey, what's the likelihood of that happening again? And even then you were aware, and all mothers may not be as on top of things like you are. So the more that we can get moms to do the things we know work well, like always sleeping on the back, always having nothing in the crib, all those extra pillows and blankets. And I'm a grandma. I think a baby's always cold. So I want, so our inclination to go against what research says. And then when we have our baby like little Chanel, who came early and was preterm, has some issues already, we know that these things can contribute to complicating sleep and having some things that we don't want to happen. We want our babies to be safe. So I just want to dialogue with you and talk a little bit about the challenges of doing it the right way all the time. What gets in the way? What complicates it?
So once baby goes to sleep, I want her to stay asleep.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I lay her on her back, she'll wake right up. And then of course, when she sees me, it's like, up, I want to pick up.
Yeah.
So if I lay on her stomach and turn her to the side, she's out. So it's a struggle. It's a struggle to say, okay, the safest place for her to be is on her back.
Right.
So I just practice, even though I don't want to sometimes, I practice to put her the right way so that she becomes comfortable with it and it's natural for her, and then she'll stay asleep.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like repetition, building habit, and even if it's short spurts, then we can increase it over time. Yeah. And she'll eventually be comfortable in it. And it'll take time. It takes time for us because it's inconvenient, but I don't want to be. Who wants to be on the other side of that statistic?
Nobody.
One baby is too much.
Yeah.
One baby is too much. So what we want to do is do our best to take in all of those things we know works well. We know if we always sleep them on their back.
Yeah.
Because the whole deal about the trach and the ability to for things not to go down and choke you and aspirate. You know. So, we don't know what happened with your first baby. We don't know how it happened, but we do know you were alert. You were uncompromised. You were able to respond and do what you needed to do. Yeah. And that's what's important. Now let's talk about something that gets a little funky. Smoke. Smoking.
Oh, yeah.
Smoking in the baby's environment.
I'm not a smoker, but right now I live in an apartment and I have neighbors who smoke. So even before baby came home, when I would come home, I could smell smoke in my apartment. So, we're all connected. The ventilation is connected, so it's really, really annoying. But I did complain to the management, and that was taken care of. But still, having to go through the process of, worrying about baby inhaling that smoke. And even when I cook, sometimes the fried foods or foods barbecuing, that smoke I choke on that.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how she would feel inhaling some of that smoke.
Being a preemie, also infants when they're first born, we still developing their lungs. And so candles, just little things that we don't think about,
And I have tons of candles out.
Yeah, we don't think about that, and we don't think about cooking to get them as far away from the cooking environment. How many times have I stood there cooking in my day with my old self,
baby on my hip,
cooking, frying chicken, or doing whatever I should not have been doing. But when you know better, you do better, and that's the thing about it. The conversation that we have with moms a lot around marijuana, because not just cigarette smoke, it's marijuana, it's candles, it's all of those things. It's about when you take off your coat, it's in your clothes, it's in your hair. Look at all this hair. That smoke ain't going nowhere, it's in my hair. And now I'm gonna go pick up my baby. So I applaud you for doing what you needed to do and being aggressive about it in your apartment, in your complex. And maybe you're not the favoriteest neighbor.
No, but I asked to stay anonymous. And I wasn't the only one, because I have a neighbor upstairs who also had a baby. And she was right above the smoke. See, I was on the side of it, so I was further away, but how much more was she suffering being right above?
And think about somebody with a baby in the apartment. With all that going. Again, so we know we're going to do better. When we know better, we do better. And I think that's what's most important. Sleeping our baby on our back. Eliminating everything in the crib except for the crib.
The crib and baby.
That's it.
So that was another factor for me too, because when women come home and we have our hormones after having the baby, the temperature in the house, like I was always hot. So I would turn the heater off and then baby would be freezing. And I was like, I just put a blanket over her. And I'm like, no, because if she rolls over, then it's going to cover her face.
Anything.
So that was a struggle too, like trying to find the right temperature in the room for us both to be comfortable. That was hard.
And I think I always thought, the baby got to be cold. Or the baby got to be, I didn't really think about, how are you feeling? And then take into consideration, I'm just had the baby, I'm hormonal, I'm having issues. So again, our ability to really look for, that's another thing, overheating our babies creates that problem as well. people put beanie, they cover their heads, we put on, so was it a big sale to get you to use the sleep sack as opposed to a blanket? Or?
It's easier. It's a lot easier, and then I'm nervous. I'm always so I wouldn't sleep if a blanket was in the crib or a bassinet with my baby, because I'd be worried about him or her suffocating.
Yeah.
So the safe sleep zip up, that's much easier.
Right.
And you don't have it's a blanket. You don't have to worry about it. It's like set it and forget it, like the crock pot. Set it and forget it.
I mean, really, the thing is, are these things convenient? Is it easy? No. But I'm going to tell you, if you ever have to sit across or sit down or sit next to a mother
who's lost
where a baby, and this is preventable. All of this is preventable. Or at least we can do as much as we can to keep our babies safe. So the ask is, are you willing to consider, one, always sleeping your baby alone, co-sleeping. You know how dangerous that is. And on her back, always in her crib, not in the car seat, not on the couch, not on your chest.
I'm guilty. Guilty.
Check. But that's okay. We're a work in progress, and we just keep doing it. We want to lessen the opportunities for something to go wrong. Always sleeping our baby safe.
She wants to talk. She has something
It's her
to
floor.
say.
She
has something to say.